Here we go again.
The art.
No! Just stop!
No!
Max, you have to learn that no means no.
No, hey, not when it comes to annoying Steph, and you know that.
Oh, fair enough.
Oh, no.
Welcome to SideQuest Source, a podcast about gaming by geeks for geeks. I said geeks instead of nerds this time because I want to diversify. Geeks are welcome too.
All right. So,
Games, PvP, PVE. Player versus player, player versus environment.
yeah, it's not only a video game thing. It's actually in board games.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we've played games that cover the whole spectrum. And to illustrate the point, what is a game that is purely player versus player? There is no cooperative mechanic in the game whatsoever.
Chess.
Chess, yeah. Monopoly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking Catan, there's a trading mechanism, so there is some non-hostile action between players, but so that's not purely PvP, but it is very close to pure PvP. At the other end of the spectrum, there are purely cooperative games where there is no mechanic for hindering each other. Pandemic. That is a purely cooperative game. There is no...
Unless you get the DLC.
And, unless you add the DLC, which changes things. The First Martians that we're playing now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Purely cooperative game. So far, who knows what happens in the future? Because we haven't played all through all the scenarios yet.
Well, I doubt, because considering we're trying to be the first Martians, if we have some player versus player action there, I don't think that's a very healthy work environment.
Yeah, one guy is like, I win, and the others have died.
That's I'm the first true Martian king.
It's going to push you out the airlock and you get to survive WOO without oxygen.
Woo.
Woo. Yeah. But I
Do
mean,
you have a magic carpet? Yes, a nice four-seater.
I mean,
So let me get this straight. You want to, what was it? Beg for your life from the king of the potato people, riding a magic carpet, and you call me insane?
we've gone into Red Dwarf quotes now. Yeah,
I love that.
Oh,
great show.
lovely.
Yeah,
Yes.
but I mean, Tricarion.
Yeah.
There's no cooperative element as far as I remember there. You can set your
No, there isn't.
magic to show up on the same day as someone else to piggyback them.
Yeah,
but it's
yeah,
not cooperative.
It's more parasitic
Yeah.
than symbiotic in the way the actions you can take with other players.
Yeah. And I mean, then you've got games that are mostly cooperative, but with a competitive element. And I'm thinking Betrayal and House of the Hill, where you all start off on the same team, and then one or more person will betray you.
Yeah, usually. I mean, there are some betrayal scenarios where you remain as a team.
Or you all betray each other. So it's purely PvP or purely PvE,
Yeah.
but it's a hybrid.
It has all of it.
Then we've got Dead of Winter,
Yeah.
which you don't know if it's PvP or PvE until the end. What's very nice is, although it is primarily cooperative, even if there's no traitor, everyone has their own individual agenda. So you are trying to make the cooperative win, but you also have to do something for yourself, which may be at odds with the overall aim.
Yeah.
So you've got to win the scenario. Your colony has to survive the winter. But you also, if you want to win as an individual, you have to accumulate this much medicine and your own gun.
Well, it's a bit like in...
Who goes there?
Who Goes There, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially the entire game is a cooperative game.
I need to tell the story of how I won the game by losing.
Okay, go ahead.
Playing Who Goes There, it's based on The Thing. It's a genuinely wonderful game. You start off all trying to survive.
Yeah.
But during the course of the game, it is guaranteed that at least one player will be infected by this alien creature. It could be more. It could be more than one, but guaranteed at least one. For the players to win, for the non-infected players to win, they have to repair the helicopter, get the map, get the supplies, and escape. For the infected players to win, they have to do all of this and get on the helicopter with at least one uninfected person, so they have a snack on the way.
Yeah.
So if the helicopter is full of only infected people, they lose. Now, we were playing the game. We got right to the end game. I was not infected. I knew, therefore, that either Max or Steffi was infected. Turns out they both were, but I didn't know that. But I knew that one of them was, and I knew that if I got on that helicopter, I wouldn't win, because there was an infected person on it. So I did the only logical thing. I refused to get on the helicopter, and therefore froze or starved to death in Antarctica all by myself. Then it was revealed that they were both infected, and they lost the game because they didn't have me on the helicopter. So I managed to beat them by dying.
Well, we all lost in that
Yes, you
case.
didn't-
You
you
did
didn't
not
win.
win.
No, but I stopped you winning.
No,
Yeah.
well, yes.
Yes, you stopped us winning.
Yes.
But
So
you
I
lost
claim
it,
that
so
I claim that as a moral victory.
Yes.
I died.
you saved the world.
I saved the world, and I died.
However,
Ooh, and for those who didn't know, by The Thing, we mean the horror movie from 1982.
yes. But there is a way that you could have still won.
By figuring out which one of you was the thing and kicking you off the helicopter.
Yeah, or
I didn't know though.
or then just shooting both of us.
Yeah, I didn't have the equipment required for that.
Well, now with the new update coming, I think it's going to be even easier to try and have that kind of elements in the end. But like it's really a genuinely fun game where the paranoia grows. In the beginning, everyone's on the same team, but then slowly it just starts building this paranoia, and it's just I love it. And when you have like really good soundtrack playing in the background, it just makes it perfect.
Lovely game. Really would recommend.
Yep.
Here's a question, though. I mean, would you consider Once Upon a Time PvP or PVE? Everyone's working together to tell a story, but you're trying to hijack it from each other to finish it first.
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
Because you have to work together. You can't just like go on a tangent and ignore the existing story.
Well, you could,
Well, but then you're not.
but
playing
then
the
you're an
game, right?
asshole.
Yeah,
I guess at its heart,
it's PvP, isn't it?
it is PvP, but the truth of it is PvE. Because everyone is playing the game because they want to tell a really good story.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I have to be honest, whenever I've played it, if the story goes really in a really cool direction with someone,
Go with it.
yeah, go with it. And I don't want to like interrupt that because it's a game where if you play with people you're not used to playing with, and then someone just hijacks it so that they can like just pound down the cards and say like, oh, my person went into a forest and then found a ring, and with that ring he became king, and then he was the king forever, and then you win. It's not a game meant for you.
Yeah. Then you completely miss the spirit of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So the
and-
spirit of the game is PvE, but maybe the game itself is PvP.
It's more like it's cooperative competition, if you will.
Yeah.
Because you want the spirit of the game is to work to make sure the narrative survives and continues and makes sense and is interesting. But then the PvP element is, of course, then trying to hijack the story
Yeah.
and making sure you're the one who finishes it, because you have to get rid of all your cards. And for those who don't know, yes, Once Upon a Time is a card-based storytelling game.
Yeah.
Whoever goes first starts telling a story, and the idea is to then get rid of all the cards in your hand.
Yeah, and each card has like different story elements, like a forest or a magic item or...
Consider Fiasco as well. I mean,
Yeah.
Fiasco is also a cooperative storytelling game. You are definitely playing against each other. And it would be so easy to hijack that and just tell stories that really screw the other players over. But that's not the spirit of the game. The spirit of the game is to tell this story
And
together.
technically you could still win.
Well, it's kind of the spirit of the game too, though.
But
The
yeah, but you
Fiasco,
can
to
technically
make
still
it a-
win if your character gets really negative points.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you stay in the like, it's a very
balance.
It's a balance, and it's a very interesting game because it's a party game. We were talking about this. Is it a party game? Is it a board game? Is it a
role-playing game.
role-playing game? What is it? I think it is also once again a PvP game, but at its heart. But
Cooperative elements.
yeah, but it's a PVE well, not PVE, but it's a cooperative game.
Yeah. You have to work together.
PVE
for the
stands for
narrative.
player versus environment. I don't think there's really environment.
You have to play nice.
Yeah.
I kickstarted the second edition of Fiasco, and I have the add-on content, but the core game has not arrived yet, which is slightly frustrating. So
Here's all the extra bits, but
yeah,
you're
I've got
the
the
main,
extra. The main game, not
It's
yet.
kind of like when Star Wars, Kenner came out with its Star Wars toys, but they sold the box first.
The empty box, yeah.
Yeah, the empty box. And then they were like, for Christmas, you'll get the toys. Buy this box now.
I did that with
What?
Did you know
I did
this?
not know this. What?
Yeah, like I think it was like there was a set of 8 action figures or something. And
they didn't have time to manufacture them before Christmas.
exactly. So they promised they promised to they sold a box that was an empty box of promises. And they said you buy this box and then you're going to get these 8 action figures in the future later. You can enjoy the pictures on the back of the box, but they literally kids bought an empty box.
Yeah. So they had something to unwrap at Christmas.
Yeah.
They had no idea how successful Star Wars was going to be when it came out in May 21st, 77?
77. Yeah.
It's a shame they couldn't have brought it out on May the 4th. It was only a few weeks earlier. It would have made the whole world of difference. But, yeah. So,
eventually, yeah, once, the internet culture, where people like...
they should have, the internet should have been around and...
They should have used the Force to see it. But they had no idea how successful the film was going to be. So when it came down to merchandise, none of the rights had been sorted out, and there was no company already producing stuff. And this is back in the 70s, so supply lines were longer and more laborious. And the film broke all expectations. You can imagine at the end of summer, people going, fantastic, we made all this money. How can we make more money? Toys. We need to sort a contract out. We need to get suppliers. And they just couldn't get
There's an excellent documentary series on Netflix called The Toys That Made Us.
Oh, yeah.
And it has an episode on Star Wars toys, and it's really good. And it tells all about that, and it's really good. I highly suggest it.
Oh, got to check that one out.
But when going back to PvP, PVE games, I mean, I guess we were talking more cooperative games, but not PvE games where everyone's playing against a board, like Pandemic. Pandemic is a pure PvE game.
That is true. That is true.
Because, I mean, we're together playing against this evil pandemic that is spreading, and we're trying to survive it. Now, we've managed to... Because I made a deal with myself. I haven't made this deal with any other board game except Pandemic for some reason. That I will not buy any of the expansions until we've played through Pandemic on its most hardest setting.
Oh, that's never going to happen. It's a tough game.
We almost did it.
We almost did it.
And then something, I don't remember what happened.
But there was like a chain of new cases and everything.
Because we almost got that one strain down. And then suddenly it was just a really bad luck.
Outbreak. Yeah, it's tough.
Everyone now, like, speaking of Pandemic, everyone now has been like screaming over the Pandemic Legacy series, because I mean, it's now in its third season. Because there's season 1, season 2, and they follow each other. And now there's season 0. I don't know if this takes place before or after or whatever.
It's with smallpox.
Yeah, but the buzz is insane. Everyone's saying like this is the best one. So,
oh wow! I mean, the only Legacy game we really played was the Betrayal Legacy box, and that was amazing.
That was
a fantastic experience.
We should actually talk about Legacy games at some point.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, considering Pandemic, and it's a game with cubes, and it hasn't got the amount of content and narrative content that Betrayal has. So it's hard to imagine that as a really good Legacy game. But if it's that popular, apparently they must be doing something right.
I think the whole idea is that it's like on a grander scale as a Legacy game, where you can just feel the weight of your decisions affecting the world. That's what makes it feel like so insane. Which I think will be something really interesting to see. That if things that we've done in the first board game affect the third board game, I mean, that'll be insane.
Yeah.
Oh, another one, which is, I guess, a Legacy kind of game, is Gloomhaven. Same thing, and that's player versus environment, I think, as well, which is kind of like D&D as a board game, and everyone swears by Gloomhaven.
I don't think I've even heard of that one. Gloomhaven, you said?
Gloomhaven, yeah. Gloomhaven is like, the game. We're not allowed to have a podcast if we don't know what Gloomhaven is, I think.
Well, we should get it and play it sometime.
Well, I mean, I will admit I am the most ignorant of the three of us.
Oh, we're definitely getting it.
Yeah.
I've already have it.
I want to play it already, like, badly. I'm angry that you haven't gotten it already.
Yes, we'll get it.
And I'm ignorant and poor. I depend on these two guys for my board games.
we're his fixers. We
are.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the thing is, with PVE games, if it's 2 PVE, you end up playing your own game and not interacting with the players. And there are some games that I've played where it feels like there's 4 people playing a single player game at the same time.
Yeah, there is. What's a good example of that?
African Stars, because you're all exploring individually.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if we think about some of the more modern games, then yeah, essentially any game that's really based on you getting the most points.
Yeah.
Like, I have a vague memory of it could be affect each other a lot in Terraforming Mars. I can't remember.
Well,
or were we all just trying to collect our own points on the map?
I think in Terraforming Mars, actually, it's more you're focusing on your own stuff.
Yeah, so that's one of those like.
I mean, there are things that the environment that everyone is creating affects you. So I'm not necessarily playing directly against another player, but the actions that other player has on Mars will affect me. So I mean, yeah, it is. There could be more interaction between the players in that game.
Yeah.
And I mean, Catan again. You're building your own civilization, and you're trading with people. Where they build stuff prevents you building stuff. But other than that, you're building your own little empire, and there's not a huge amount of interaction other than trading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's still a PvP game.
It's still PvP. That's a PvP game.
Yeah.
I mean, because for me, with board games, I like there to be a cooperative element.
Yeah.
Where you're playing together, but then I also love that sort of individual mandate or the sort of the traitor mechanic. So there's this level of uncertainty, and again, as much as I hate Max for it, it made the game so memorable when we played Dead of Winter.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean, we have to play Dead of Winter again one day because I mean, every time we played it, I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
There's never been.
It's Dead of Winter and like games like that one and Zombies. Zombies is very is PVE, right? Because it's you against the zombies on the board.
But also PvP because you can nick each other's stuff.
Yeah.
And then it's only the first player to get to the helicopter that wins.
And you can direct the zombies to attack other people.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That is true. That is true.
Time stories.
Oh, so
Oh, yeah. I forgot that thing existed.
So did I, and then I just suddenly remembered that, like, fuck, I have this amazing board game that we played twice and we love it.
Yeah,
Time
that-
Stories
yeah.
is an amazing board game where it like almost traverses the escape room kind of role-playing-esque thing where you have a board that is very unassuming. It's white. And we play a team of time travelers / multidimensional travelers. And we're sent we're sent on a mission by a guy who looks like Seal.
Yep.
And-
Not a seal. Seal.
Seal, yes. Kiss from a Rose, Seal. And whenever we succeed, we play that song. And then we're sent on a mission where we possess the body of someone.
Think Quantum Leap.
Think Quantum Leap. Yeah.
It's quite, it's very much Quantum
It
Leap
is very
board
much,
game,
but
as a team.
But as a team. And then you go there, and then you slowly try and succeed in your mission, which is different every time. And the mission packs you buy separately. And when you play it, like we played the mental asylum that came with the game.
Yeah.
And then there's like a spread of 5 cards that creates a scene. And then everyone chooses which card to go and look at. And it slowly changes the map that you can investigate. And then there's like different card stacks that have different puzzles that we have
and the
to
cards
figure
are
out.
all in order. Actually, isn't that like one of the closest thing we had to like a legacy game?
It was kind of, yeah.
Yeah, because everything is in order. And I remember like in one point in one game I just decided like I'm gonna investigate this statue, and then I like rolled or pulled a card, and then suddenly I got this like hypercube thing.
Yeah, we don't know what it does.
Which has no explanation other than the card said like this is yours now, carry it on into your like future missions. And so far it
Now we
hasn't
have a
done anything
hypercube.
or been a choice. So I have a thing. I don't know what it does.
Yeah, and it was great. I mean, we had like there was that zombie mission.
Yeah, the
And,
Marcy
and,
case.
and when you don't succeed the first time around, which most of the time you don't, then you go back into the mission.
But you have the secret information that you've learned.
Yeah, so
I know
it
there's a secret
resets-
room here.
It resets to the beginning of the day again. So there's all the same monsters you have to fight and blah 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 blah. But now you know. So like there was that one crazy guy who had the gun or something.
Yeah.
So we like next time around, instead of talking to him, we just went and like bashed him over the head and just took the gun.
Or there was one patient in the asylum who had all these wonderful clues that we followed, and it turns out it was a red herring. So
Yeah.
the next time round, we know to ignore them. Things
And
like
we
that.
also know
Yeah.
to ignore Tom sometimes, because at the very end when there were, oh no, I don't want to spoil it now if people are going to play this game. But Tom was like, let's do the thing. And we're like, no, let's not do the thing. Let's see what happens, because Max and I knew exactly what would happen. Tom is like the worst when it comes to PvEs because he wants to just see what happens.
Yeah, I'm curious, man. I want to find out.
Yeah. No.
Well, that being said, in Seventh Continent, it was Max who was like, I want to explore the whole map first.
Yes, I know. Jesus Christ.
Well,
Like-
it's the side quest sauce got the better of me.
Yes. Seventh Continent
we
is...
can't go into the mysterious cave until I know what's inside. What's in the rest of the forest? I mean,
But the
there might be something
mysterious cave
important there.
has a mysterious cave in it.
Well, that's we figured out later. So we're kind of both wrong on that. So,
Yeah,
so
I mean-
exploring the forest was the right choice, and there because we should have found a second mysterious cave, and
Yeah, we went into the wrong cave.
No, we found the mysterious cave once, and when we investigated it, we didn't find anything, so we kept on going. It turns out we should have investigated harder.
We should have investigated
That was
harder.
mildly annoying in that
It was.
in that
I mean,
story. I gotta say, because it just
But that Seventh Continent is a great PVE game because it is all about the environment.
Yeah.
It is
very true.
all
very
about,
true.
and the DLC that comes with, even more so.
Yeah.
Because it adds actually some really good elements, because we played it vanilla first in the beginning, and then we played it with the additional stuff with the rock monsters and stuff. And I think that really added more happening, because in the beginning when we were playing it kind of was a bit boring because we were just trying to survive all the time.
Yeah,
we weren't going
on
forward.
survival, and it took away a little bit of the
Exploration
Yes.
part.
Yeah, and the exploration part is the meat of that game.
Yeah.
And then slowly as we started exploring, and then there were the rock worms and stuff, and then I think Max got one as a pet.
Oh, yeah.
And we were just going forward, and it really like just added to it. But I just remember one game where Max got a goat, and the goat was following it, and we were like all the time saving it, and it had a good source of meat, and we were always getting hungry. And Max is like, "No, we need this goat.
We're not going to eat the goat.
We're not going to eat the goat."
And I was right.
No, you were wrong.
What?
Because at the very end, when we were like, it was like 4:00 in the morning, and we finally find the statue that we had to like do the thing on, and there was like an altar, and Max is like, "Yes, sacrifice the goat. This is why the goat exists." And he goes there, he does a big thing, and he sacrificed the goat on the altar, and nothing happens.
Oh yeah, you're
Because
right.
it was the wrong quest.
It was the wrong
yes.
quest.
We found the wrong endpoint.
Yes, and we were just like, what? And then we finally we had like one of the things to do, and then when we did it, it was like, like, good job, now find the other one. And we're just like, fuck. That one curse took us like I don't know how long to play.
Well, it is also the only curse we played so far, and it is the one that then made me doubt the game and not really enjoy it that much, because it felt very much like a cheap shot. Like you finally get to the end, and now you have to go all the way to who knows where to find the other eye, and it turns out then later on that we went past it, and like I said, that was one where we found a cave, and apparently we should have just looked harder, and it would have been there.
Yeah, it's not everyone's favorite, that curse. I mean, there's 8 more curses.
Yeah,
we
so
can do.
I'm very into like trying out more of those curses.
Yeah, definitely.
And hoping, because the mechanic, the map, and everything,
It's great.
It promises so much.
And the map is always the same. This is the thing. You can play it multiple times because they promise over 1,000 hours of gameplay, which is true.
I can believe that, yeah.
But the map is always the same, and they encourage you in drawing maps so that you know where everything is, so that the next time you go back, even though you might use different characters, your personal knowledge is there, so you know where everything is.
Well, yes, okay. In that sense, then it makes sense, because then you have your map, and even if you're on a different curse and you're looking for something else, you still know. Oh well, if it's in this forest, I know there's a point of interest here and here, so we should just head there, so we can then continue
we found
on.
lots of stuff that pertain to different symbols and different curses, and we're just like, crap.
There's like clues upon clues, so you sort of like to have. We kept on finding stuff. Oh, this is obviously a clue, but it doesn't have anything to do with our current adventure, so it'll just
exactly. Like we found that river of lava that like we didn't know where that goes.
Oh yeah, we found the river of the underworld kind of thing.
But then it's a great example of a PVE game.
Yeah.
I think a great example of a PvP game is Tricarion, because we're all magicians, and it is like a Euro game, a worker placement game. Yeah. But the whole idea is that you start setting up your show, and you start setting up your act. And as the game progresses, your act gets more and more elaborate, because you're learning different tricks, and you have to get the components for the tricks. And then you have to kind of barter and buy the different parts.
Yeah. And try to hinder your fellow players from getting their parts.
Yeah. So it's a really competitive game, but it's still really cool. Because the board is beautiful, the cards are beautiful, everything in it is just top notch.
Yes, and because it's not just like buy these things to learn these tricks, because there's a lot of tricks for you to learn. So there is a lot of paths to victory, which is what I really like.
Yeah, you can buy a lot of cheap tricks.
Yep.
And then, maybe try and win that way. Yep. Or then you can really focus everything into making that one perfect trick, which is like very elaborate, but it'll give you the most amount of prestige.
Yeah. there's a good opportunity to rag on board games that we don't like. There is one way to win. No, there's 1.5 ways to win African Star.
Oh, yeah.
You find the African Star and take it back. Or if someone else has found the African Star, you find a horseshoe and then you beat them back to port.
Yeah, the horseshoe.
Oh, yeah, the horseshoe. Yeah, that's true.
In Monopoly, there is one way to win the game, which is
the last one playing the
Yeah,
game.
last man standing.
Yeah, because everyone else will quit.
Yeah, well, there are no
anyone-
victory conditions to Monopoly.
No, has anyone ever played a game of Monopoly to the end? Like where you can be like, I win.
Well, yeah, when you finally have the last Monopoly, I don't know. And also because I just realized Monopoly doesn't have victory conditions.
you're just the only one left playing.
Yeah.
You've got Catan, and again, love Catan. There are multiple effective strategies to win the game, and that's what I like. Tricarian, like you said, there are so many different ways to build your act together, and you can try a different approach to win.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's absolutely right. I mean,
Massive replayability.
And it just happened to remind me then of Puerto Rico, which is
good game.
It's not a good game because there's one way to win, and it's just a race to get the one resource, and after that you will win.
Is that true?
Yes,
I played it a couple
we found
times
out. I can't. It was years ago, so I can't remember what exactly the tactic was. But I also I had to sit down and look at all the cards and do some math, and I realized, if you get whoever gets if you get to this thing first, you will win the game, and there's no way around that. There's a superior tactic to win to Puerto Rico. And that's the example of a bad game.
Yeah,
in the sense of a Euro game where there's one obvious way to win, like Tom was saying.
Yeah. Good games, bad games. Yeah.
Good games, bad games.
But I guess well, okay. What is your favorite style of game? Is it PVE or is it PvP?
I like mainly cooperative, but I like everyone to have their own agenda. The thing that Pandemic lacks for me, and maybe this is fixed in the legacy version, you don't feel as an individual you are only operating as part of a cooperative. It's like, I want to have my own thing that I'm doing as well as helping everyone else. So Dead of Winter has that perfectly.
Yeah.
And the mysterious traitor mechanic, where you don't know if there's a traitor. You don't know if everyone is being entirely level with you. That adds an element of genuine terror to these games, and I love that.
Nice.
That is true. I pretty much I enjoy that as well. The working together, have the headband, but then still having your own agenda, your own.
Yeah. I'm a bit different. I actually I like purely PVE games where we're all a team, because then I know that we're all on a playing field, because I'm always way too trusting. I want to play like the samurai, like trusting, and it's all about the honor. Because then when I inevitably get betrayed by either one of you, I can feel at least good about myself being like, I never betrayed either.
Okay.
Because if there's ever a mechanic where I'm the traitor, then either when Tom knows he's not the traitor and Max knows he's not the traitor, then it's obviously I'm the traitor, so they kill me always right away. So I never get to have the fun of being the traitor.
Well, you mean you just need a better poker face, man.
No, I don't.
Because
exactly.
You get all shifty when you're shifty.
Yes, I get all shifty when I'm shifty. Exactly, because I'm a writer, so I have to start acting like over shifty. I'm like, ha ha.
Essentially, you just grow a monocle and
yes.
All right,
I start twirling my mustache.
let me throw a game in the mix then.
Okay.
Sheriff of Nottingham. I love that game.
Okay, that is
a purely PvP game. You are trying to smuggle things in past a player who's playing the sheriff.
But that's a great thing, because everyone gets a turn being the sheriff.
Everyone gets to be the sheriff.
That's very true. Yeah, everyone plays every role there.
So it's beautifully balanced.
Yeah.
Everyone gets a chance to be the bad guy, and you have to lie and deceive and bluff. And it is purely a game of bluff.
Yeah,
it is. Or you can play totally straight face, because
that is a type of bluff, though.
Yeah,
that is a type of bluff. Yeah, because everyone expects a bluff.
Yeah,
if
that's the best thing. Yeah,
if they think you're bluffing, if they think you're bluffing
in that game,
and if they think you're bluffing and you're not bluffing, then you get more.
Exactly.
So it's actually, that's a wonderful game.
As a family game, it's perfect. Though the smaller kids might have difficulty bluffing.
Yeah,
but I mean,
but you don't have to play it with the bluffing element. You can actually play the game without any of the lying with kids and be still a fun game to play.
But they might not be as good at spotting bluffing in other people.
Well, of course, when you're playing with the game, then you don't bluff your own kids. Yeah, here we go.
Have you even been a parent?
Have you met Tom?
You know what I'm saying? You never lie to your own kids?
Yes, but not in like when you're playing a game. I don't want to beat my own child in playing a game like that.
I'll beat them for you.
Yeah, Tom loves beating children.
That's why I
like,
became
Tom,
a teacher.
Figuratively speaking.
Figuratively.
Yes,
Figuratively.
emotionally.
So yes, all right. So, but
Yeah, no,
how do we segue into escape rooms? We had this great idea, and they didn't.
because a good example of a purely cooperative game is an escape room.
Oh yeah, that
Because
is a
you're
good
all
example. Jesus,
working together to get out. Together, we've done quite a few escape rooms.
we've done. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've done 4 with you guys.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to say I'm 4 for 4 with my escape rooms. We've always gone out.
That is true.
And
we're getting better each time.
Yeah. And I love them. I genuinely love escape rooms. If you've not tried one, get a group of friends together who are into gaming, find your local escape room. I mean,
If you can, right now the COVID
Yeah.
going
yeah,
around.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's certain...
If you listen to this during the Corona pandemic going on, you might not want to.
You know, there is, and even here, they're starting to do a thing called virtual escape rooms, where you can log in online with your group of friends, and you can basically tell the person what to do when they're going through the escape room.
Oh yeah, that's right.
If you remember the show Nightmare that was on British Kids TV in the late 80s, early 90s.
Nope.
Well, yeah, British Kids TV. Sorry, Max. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the idea. You had someone who
didn't
you were
have a
guiding
TV.
through a virtual map.
But yeah. I mean, it sounds like a weird concept, but at the same time, sounds intriguing. I really want to try that out. I think we should try that one out and then
Just
do a
for fun.
review on that.
Yeah.
I mean, a virtual escape room. So
We should do it.
have I understood correctly? So that you, with your friends, you log in, and then through like a chat window or something, you are essentially watching a person be inside an escape room, and you're giving them orders, like instructions, like, hey, what's under here, what's under there, and if they find a clue, they come show it to you, or oh no, it's empty, there's nothing here. So essentially, yes, you have to help someone escape from an escape room. A bit like a point and click game,
Exactly.
like Monkey Island style.
The first thing that comes to mind when thinking of that, of course, we're talking about board games and role playing games and stuff in general, but I think escape rooms is an excellent gateway into that, and also it is a part of the whole experience of board games, because it's like a group of friends trying to figure out a puzzle.
I would say it is live action roleplay.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's live action role play meets board game. You are in the
a
board.
live action board game.
The board is the entire room.
Yeah.
And you have to find clues and figure it out.
Exactly. So I was thinking, like, when they were doing these, online things, online escape rooms, imagine if they do one like specifically designed for that, and you're an operator in the Matrix.
Oh, yeah.
And then they're the agents, or they're the, the
resistance.
Resistance sent in, and you have to then keep on giving them advice.
Yeah, like telling them, like, oh yeah, you have to do this, and then you hack in at the same time so you can open a door for them, and basically.
That's a cool element. Yeah,
I know, right?
So
that
2 levels.
Cool.
So yeah, so you're at the same time you're giving orders and assisting the person, giving orders and to get the person in the room to go forward.
Yeah.
And you are then trying to.
And then there would be like another actor, because now there's only 2 actors, so they can really like fake fight.
Well, they could.
So you can download like kung fu into your agents. And...
Also, like the last thing we did with was a bank heist. I mean, that as well. You're the IT guy. You have to then help them hack into stuff.
What I really liked about the last escape room that we did was how the game starts before you even start playing.
Yeah.
I love that. Basically, when I booked the event or the time, I got an email from our boss saying like, okay, you're the best of the best, and we need you to do this bank heist. So you're going to have to go in, and when you get there, you have to call this number and say that you're part of the electric company.
Here to fix the power, yeah.
Here to fix the power.
Yeah.
And then when they came and they were like, oh yeah, good, like, well, of course it's the escape room, and they explain everything, and it's like, oh, well, we're here next to the bank.
Yeah.
But, we're going to send you to the bank section, and here's like your work clothes, put these on. So we're going to be open. The bank is going to be opening in an hour. And then you go in, and it's like, it's a bit of fun. It's a bit of theater that you go in there, and it starts right away. But when it comes to real good theater, I mean, the same company, they're horror ones.
Oh.
I mean, when we did the haunted house one in the beginning,
Oh, that was great.
That was like
we were all so confused.
we were like, we call, and then there's like heavy breathing, like on the phone, and you're just like, what the fuck? And then they open the door, and it's like Death there with like a lantern or something, and he's like, come inside.
Yeah, hey, we didn't send a sort of like kind of like just gesture. He didn't say anything.
Yeah, he didn't say anything, and then he just pointed like, put all your shit in the box, and then
Yeah, there were like signs on the wall. And like, read.
read this, and then put stuff in box, and then he threw us into the house and locked the door, and then we're in this apartment, and then suddenly we start hearing a girl echoing creepy voice, and then it just started.
Yeah.
And it was so good. But then we did the
asylum one.
The asylum one, and that.
I want to go back to the haunted house one just for a second, because it was really nice. There was an actor there who was interacting with us slightly. Mm-hmm. And at one point, there was a lock that was accessible through a hole in the wall. So you had to like jam your hand up through the hole in the wall. You could just feel a lock. And someone wasn't trying to do it. And this guy just touched their hand. I can't remember who it was, but they screamed so loud.
I think it was me.
It could have been, yeah.
Yeah.
And if you've never done an escape room, you must be thinking this is a very cheesy, very, very corny game. But when you're there and you're in the moment, it feels so real.
And that's the thing. You get the most out of the escape room if you actually take the story in and you just put a little bit of effort into the role play of it. Not only are you maybe better at solving the puzzles, because it's not about escape rooms are not about to try and getting out at the the fastest that you can. You can play it competitively if you want that way, but it's about like taking in the story and enjoying
immersion in the story.
Yeah, immersion in the story, that you're stuck in this mental asylum and you're trying to get out, and then you see some crazy guys running down the corridor.
Yeah,
and crazy shit happening, and it's like you really I really started enjoying, because suddenly it's no longer a couple of rooms behind some plaster walls. It's a couple of rooms and corridors inside a mental asylum. Yeah. Behind that wall is another crazy room.
You need just a smidgen of suspension of disbelief, and you will fall deeply into that world.
Yeah.
No, and it would be so much more fun.
Sometimes you can have a really good escape room. Really doesn't look very good, but the story is so good that it's easy to suspend belief.
Yeah.
And a really good example, when we did the President's Escape.
The Secret Service one.
The Secret Service one.
Was fun.
And you're in the Oval Office. It didn't look like the Oval Office, but to us it was the Oval Office.
Yeah.
It was
felt
perfect.
Right.
Yes, we got toy guns and stuff, and hats that said FBI. So it was like Secret Service, and
and we had badges too,
and little badges, and that helped us really get into character.
And sunglasses, I think. Yeah, we had that, and we went in, and then we started doing the whole thing, and we're trying to investigate. And I don't want to spoil it because they're still running it. And then when things start happening and we start discovering things, and we're all getting really excited and we're screaming like little girls, like, oh, cool. And, like secret compartments are opening up. And, there was like that one moment where the time is ticking down, and Petter is like getting really like nervous, and he's scratching his head with the gun, and he's like everyone's pointing guns at each other, like, what are you doing? And we're like really getting into the whole thing. Like the phone's ringing, like, Mr. President, what's going on? And like, I'll never forget when we left, and this is twice that's happened, that the people who've said, like afterwards when we go, they said like, you are the best group we've ever watched play. You were so much fun watching, and this is why I wish they could just sell us the recordings.
I'm going to say this not to just to bring our egos back down. Like, I bet every single escort tells their customer, "Oh, you're the best I've ever had." but it's happened now on multiple occasions.
Are you calling them prostitutes?
I'm just making a comparison.
Yes,
that we've done an escape room, and the person who's been running it has said, like, you guys were really fun to watch. You really got into it.
An escape room is PVE. It is us versus the environment.
Yeah.
However, I know that Amaze Games did do a competitive version where they had the same room layout twice, and two teams could go in at the same time
and race.
Now that could be fun, but it could also be like, if we're thinking about PvP escape rooms, it would be pretty like fun to have then an ability to hinder the opposing team.
Fort Boyard.
Oh, yeah. Fort Boyard. Yeah, the TV show.
Yeah, that's a perfect example of a PvP escape room thing.
Yeah. That's been existing for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, multiple escape rooms, 2 teams. And if anyone knows what Fort Boyard is, I'm pretty sure you all know. But for those who don't know what it is, it's a French TV
The Americans
show.
don't know.
I think they've actually had an American version filmed on there.
Okay.
Yeah, but they've had, like, there's also the
Yeah,
Crystal
yeah.
Caverns or Crystal
Well,
Caves.
there was a British version of Fort
Don't hit the
Boyard, but the
table.
Crystal Maze is better known.
Yeah. But still, it was an old French TV show where teams try to essentially get through escape rooms.
Yeah, there's
And it
like
was set on an old sea fort.
Yeah.
Very
I
nice
think like a
location.
Yes,
Napoleon
Fort
Sea.
Boyard, which has the name.
Yeah, and I think it's it wasn't the Atlantic, I think it's the Mediterranean part.
I think so, yeah. And didn't they manufacture tin ravioli there?
I
Oh no, that's
no
Chef
idea.
Boyard. Sorry.
That's Chef.
Oh, you didn't see that one coming, did you? Oh, I got you there.
Oh.
Anyway, so yeah, they had like a bunch of different kinds of escape rooms there, and each team competes to try and get a secret code or a key.
Yeah, they got keys.
Yeah,
And the more keys you had, the more time you had, and then because
In
they
the
went
end,
through
to
the
collect the
escape
gold.
rooms. Yeah, they went through the escape rooms, and if you succeeded in it, you got a key. And in the end,
but they also had there was also a riddle,
Hmm.
and they had to solve the riddle, and then they got keywords. That the thing is, they had to figure out what the riddle meant, and with these keywords, then they could figure out what the answer was, so that they could spill it out on the thingy. Like there was like a alphabet, kind of Indiana Jones Last
yeah.
Crusade thing. And when they stood there, if they got it right, then they'd get the gold, and then they'd have the extra amount of time to gather as much gold as possible before they let the tigers free and eat them. But if you got it wrong, then they let the tigers free and eat them. It's French TV, so you get to see it.
yeah.
It's got to be tigers.
It's gotta be
Tigers.
tigers.
That was good. Yeah, it's old TV. That was saying before like modern
Standards.
health and safety standards.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's escape rooms before escape rooms were really a thing.
Yeah,
That is
and
true.
I mean, there's a way of having your competitive escape rooms. They're all timed.
Yeah.
And you find clues and things there, and then when an X amount of time has gone, a door opens, and then you have to move into the next escape room. So yeah.
Now because of escape rooms, they've gotten so popular now, and they're growing all the time, and they even have like competitive escape rooms competitions now.
Yep.
I think Red Bull hosted one last year, and it looked like amazing.
Cool.
So that's something we're probably gonna have to do one day.
Man,
But
I want to see that thing.
yeah.
There was the one on the train as well.
There was the one on the train in Finland. Yeah,
Finland, yeah, we have to do that.
yeah. VR hosted. VR is our train
Operator.
operator.
Oh, yes.
But they hosted a like Murder on the Orient Express kind of like escape room thing, which lasted all the way from Helsinki to Rovaniemi.
That's a long journey.
So like from the southern coast to the northern border.
Yeah, basically you go all the way across the Arctic Circle into Santa Claus country.
Yeah.
And
Finland is a thin but long country from north to south.
yeah, and it's a really long ride, but it was like one giant escape room that they filmed the whole thing, but unfortunately, because it's done by a railway company, it wasn't really exciting. But now there is also an option of bringing the escape room home. Apart from the VR thing, there are escape room board games.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
called like
escape room in a box, essentially, wouldn't it? Be?
yeah. Some of them called Exit, or I unfortunately thought Exit Room. But there's a series of board games where it has a bunch of like cards and puzzles inside, and then you, with a team, basically sort through the puzzles and try and do it within an hour. I've seen some more elaborate ones. Some people like even have companies where they come to your house and they set it all up so that you try and escape your own home. Now that would be a horror movie story, like they come and then...
How do you think we get time to record this podcast? We have to escape our own homes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's a cool idea to have like escape room packs that
Yeah.
you can then set up your room for. I think for Halloween, that would be really cool for kids to make something like really simple, but like still kind of feel like you're in a bit of a Halloween adventure. To have like a few things to find out and stuff. Because I remember one of the cool things during Easter, even though this was in no way felt like Easter, but it was a cool thing that I woke up one morning earlier than normal because my brother woke me up. And I must have been like, I don't know, 5 or something. And he's like, hey, come down. We found something. And I went down, and it was like an old map, because one of my favorite movies was Goonies, and it came out in like 85 or something. And it was like a A4 piece of paper burnt around the edges, and it was a map. And I followed the map. It said, like, go to the kitchen and call out the beast's name. And then I called out the beast's name, and then our black Labrador retriever like ran up to me, and it had like another piece of the map like tied around her neck. So I got that, and then that told me like to go out, and we went on this big adventure, and my dad had set this all up so that in the end we'd go to the park where there was a sandbox, and I had like the shovel that I'd managed to get from the forest. I used that shovel to dig up a treasure chest full of like chocolate coins, and it was so awesome.
Oh yeah,
it was
cool.
It was such an experience for me. It was like
that sounds super cool, man. And I gotta say, that reminded me of something I'd completely forgotten, which is something that my family used to do, because we have a largest family, and my grandparents had an island, and we had a similar thing that started out, and it had to do with, we got part of a map, and then all of us kids were like settling in teams, like the whole extended family was there, and we were sent off. We went exploring around the island. Sometimes, most of the time we had maps. Sometimes it was just clues, something like a bit of poetry or something that we had to figure out which part of the island this meal refers to. And we had to go there, and usually there was a riddle of some sort, or we had to, or like a treasure, we had to find a certain thing, and on that there was always a letter. And that way we went around the entire island, like solving riddles, finding things, and collecting these letters. And in the end, we had to get solve the anagram of the letters that we all found. And once we got that, we had to then give that to our aunt or someone, and then this is the word. And if it was the right word, we got with the final map. And that also always led to digging up a small treasure chest full of chocolate golden coins.
I know, right?
Oh yeah,
That was amazing.
That's so good.
Oh.
That's so good. And that's what I can't wait, like then when my kids are old enough, I'm going to make such an elaborate, treasure hunt for them with all, so that it's probably going to go over their heads, and I'm just going to be the only one enjoying it. I'm going to be like, oh, cool. You pull the little thing, and then you can get the flag up, and I'll be just like, I want the chocolate.
A few years ago, when my oldest son was, I think, probably 6 or 7, I got a supply of little chocolate Easter eggs, and when it was Easter, I sort of laid them out in the snow in a trail. Yeah, we still had snow in Easter back in the day, and then at the end there was a big Easter egg, and I woke him up saying, "Look, I think the Easter Bunny was here," and he went out and he followed this trail and he found the eggs. And it was an easy thing by anyone's standards, but just the look of joy and excitement in his face.
I know.
That was really nice. That was a nice game.
And I think that's why we do escape rooms, just to recapture that.
Yeah. I mean, the weird thing is, because I had completely forgotten about those, and now that you mentioned your story, I just realized, my God, I've been doing this kind of stuff for a long time, haven't I?
Yeah, but like that's.
I wonder I like board games and escape rooms.
Yeah, I mean, it's like there's nothing wrong with keeping
a sense of adventure alive.
Keeping a sense of adventure, but also keeping a bit of that childhood alive in you, because then one can say the world is a harsh place, and it is really depressing and dark, and reality sets in, and then that in the end you have to work and do the 9 to 5 and die. No, the thing is that there's all that, but it doesn't have to be as bleak and doomy.
No one says you can't play.
Exactly. You can fucking enjoy yourself while you go to your 9 to 5.
Exactly. I mean that is the whole point of being a grown-up. No one can tell you to not play, really.
Yes.
They can't tell you to take it too seriously anymore.
Yeah.
And for me, as fun as competitive escape rooms sound, I like solving the puzzles with you guys. I like beating the game. Yeah. But for me, for that 1 hour, I was a bank robber. I was a Secret Service agent. Yeah. I was an inmate in an insane asylum. Yeah. And I loved every single minute of it.
I mean, exactly. I think that's the thing. I mean, as adults, we need escape rooms to be able to play as we did as kids.
In the end, when you go to the escape room, and the whole point of the game is to escape, are we actually escaping into outside into the room?
Yeah.
Well, who knows?
We figured it out, guys.
That's the big. That's the big secret, big reveal. Are you escaping the room, or are you escaping into the room?
Well, okay. Last question.
Yeah.
If we were to design an escape room, what would it be?
A pirate-themed escape room would be awesome. We're into pirates at the moment, aren't we?
We are into pirates.
Yeah, we're a little bit into pirates right now, thanks to the game Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Fun game.
So maybe if you start off in like the brig or the galley or something.
Yeah.
And then you're like the pirate ship is
It's sinking.
it's sinking. No.
Oh yeah. Okay.
No, that would be a Titanic
It could
one,
be,
then.
Okay,
but
yeah.
I mean, this would be an outdoor escape room. We do like a park, like we get some permission from the park. We like hide some clues here, hide some clues there. You have a map, an actual treasure map. You have to find some clues.
Well, that's
with
like
the map.
geocaching almost.
Mm.
Yeah.
I got it. I got
Okay.
it. I have it. Here we go. You have the Mesukeskos, which is the
Exhibition center.
exhibition center. It's massive, right? They have those big spaces there. You rent one of those. You have a special for half a year. You build an internal pirate ship.
Like in the Goonies.
Like in the Goonies,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's in a cave and everything like that. And there's water up to your like belly button or something. And you have to go on the boat into the pirate ship. And inside the whole pirate ship is like where the escape room is. And you try and escape. Escape room. Or they blindfold you, actually. So they don't tell you where you're going. And then you go in from like the bottom because, of course, the pirate ship itself is like anchored onto the thing. It's not floating. And you go up and then they take the blindfolds off. And then you try and escape this pirate ship, and then there's like actors as skeletons and shit, and you have to find the cursed treasure and lift the curse, and then that requires you to go up to the top where there's massive wind machines blowing salt water into the face, and then the ship is on a gimbal and starts rocking, and everyone has to you look outside and it's just all dark, so it's a stormy sea.
I think this is the kind of thing they're going to build in Dubai, where they've got oil money and slave labor.
Yeah, that's
But
true. Yeah.
Maybe not in
There's
Finland.
like
Maybe not in
laser
Finland, but
projectors
then,
of
I mean, see,
Cthulhu
that's-
coming out of this ocean.
See, because you're having all the animatronic and special effects that you could just achieve by actually just building it outside, because we have a sea, we have archipelago, we have uninhabited islands.
Yeah, but then you have
could
the
build some
danger of
really-
actually sinking and people dying.
No, an island won't sink. It's already sunk.
Well, yeah. Well, okay, I can do it on Isle, but no.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think that could be fun. I mean, because there are the archipelago cruises, the like taxi and bus boats. You could probably then hire one of those to like get people to the island. But wouldn't that be like cool? Okay, so you go to the pier, you find the dude who's in character, and then you have to get in a boat, and he just like drives you to this island, gives you a map, and then he sort of like drives off, and then you're on the island. Maybe some webcam so they can spy on you, make sure everything's safe, you know.
Yeah.
And then you're on an island, and you've got clues to solve. Maybe wouldn't that be even cool? Like in the middle of the island, there's this like strange TV screen, and that gives you hints every now and then.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I'm thinking, what resources do we have in abundance in Finland that we can make use of as an escape room?
Archipelago and forest.
We got in the winter. We got snow. So how about a Siberian prison escape?
That could be fun, and also, or just like the curse of the like ice witch, because they do in the north, they do the snow hotels. And
yeah.
things.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Or just
ice and snow like structures. If
Or
they
like a
if you make
return to
hotels
Hoth.
for them, then why not make what?
Return to Hoth.
Yeah.
Oh,
Star Wars
Yeah,
one.
we might get sued by Disney, like murder sued with nukes.
They don't
Star
send
Wars.
lawsuits. They send
Nukes.
guns. Yeah.
Yes,
mess
anything's
with
better with
Disney.
guns,
Don't
right?
mess with the House of Mouse. No.
No. Maybe that's the
we're
difference
still
between
going.
us, because you're the writer, so you keep on thinking like, oh, there's amazing stories. I'm more of a manufacturer of things. I was thinking, okay, what can I actually make? What do I have? I have an island. I hide things there, and I maybe like get a shipping container, build a train interior inside there. Like that's like a train cart size.
What if it's on an
couple
island
of those
and,
like long.
and there would be an escape room like the forest, and actors would be like the
Cannibals, naked cannibals running at you. Yes,
yes.
that would calm people down. Hey,
That sounds like a.
here's an escape room, like the hills have eyes.
Yeah.
You just have this like massive gimp dude that's raping people.
And then there's the spider. There's the spider lady.
So people onto other people.
Yes.
Oh God.
That would
What
be.
have you done?
Then you have
See, yes, the human centipede meets the hills have eyes.
yes.
And then you have. And
Then you have to collect the other players for like components. So you wear them as armor.
I'm making the face that I make when I'm sure this bit's going to be edited out.
Yeah.